Okay, good day everyone. In this video, we're going to run a program that connects to the database using the Visual Studio Code. But then there are some challenges when it comes to adding the connector. So, in this video, I will show you how you can do it. And aside from that, there will be some challenges that you need to fix. Okay, so let's get started first by creating a new project. So click this button. Now I'll select the no build tools, and I can just connect. Example, I'll create a folder here. I will call this one as Java VS Code exercise. Okay, now I had created the folder, so this is where I'm going to save my project, and I'll be calling this one as registration form. And then that's it. Okay, there you have it. If you noticed here on the right side, we had now the library and the source code. Okay, so if you're going to open up the source code, we actually had here the act. So in the VS Code, by default, you will have this one. So anyway, we will just fix it later. Okay, now, okay, so the next thing that we need to do is, I'll be pasting here the whole code. Let's try to, okay, I'm going to erase all of this one because I already had my source code, which is I give you last time. So this is the same code that I give you, which is the registration form. Now, since what you call this one as the package, I'll just remove this, so you can fix it or do up registration. That's it. So you can just put it that way. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, okay, you might be wondering, so how did I fix it? Actually, there's an option here where I just do the quick fix, or you can actually remove the package if you want to do it. Okay, now as you can see, if we're going to run this program, there are still some error. Okay, let's try to run. Now if I'm going to add time and then select this one and put the roll number or ID number, when you click register, it would say error, no suitable driver found for JDBC MySQL localhost. Even though my sump is actually running and I already created the database for the university, okay, which I already did in here. Okay, I already had here the database. Okay, as you can see, and I had here the name of my table. Okay, as you can see here, I already subtesting earlier. Okay, now the problem is, how can we fix this one using the Visual Studio Code? Okay, if you are running it using a Visual Studio Code, you just simply click OK, and let's try to close this one, and in here go down and Java projects, then scroll down under this one, reference libraries, this option. Okay, you click the plus button, and what you're going to do, just look for what they call this one, the connector that you just downloaded. Example, I downloaded the MySQL connector, which is the version 9, or you can use the other version. So in this case, I downloaded the connector version 9, and you click this one. Okay, so what we're going to do is run the program just to check whether it's working now. Okay, click run, and let's say what happened. So I put here Joy Adila, then Joy Adila at gmail.com, then 0. So let's say I'm going to put this at 4, then register now. Okay, there you have it. So it's working. For us to verify whether it's now in the database, let's try to refresh this one. Okay, there you have it, Joy Avila. Okay, we had here the rule number. We can, okay, so you notice there are some duplication with the rule number. Supposedly it will not allow. Okay, well, we will be doing that as part of your exercise or challenge. Okay, now another thing that I want you to do on this one, of course, just like in the previous assignment, if you were able to add validation in the email. Now the purpose of this exercise is to show you as well on how you can separate the connection file from one file. So this is basically just a simple CRUD application where it just display on the console. Let's say if I want to view all, I can see all the entries that I had added here. Now if in case that I want to, what do you call this one, delete something, okay, record successfully. Now if I want to view again, since I typed the 34, if you notice here, all records that has a 34 rule number has been deleted. Okay, so when I click the view all, let's try to check in our database. Let me refresh this one. So there's no more record. Okay, yes, it's simple. This is only a simple testing, but of course you can make some modification in this one. Now again, supposed to be when you do deletion, okay, when I type 34, press enter, okay, it will display here the details. So example, I type here 4, press enter, it should display the details, the first name, last name, and last. So that's actually part of your exercise, and this is in connection with the other video that I give you, which is related to search option in the bookshop video. Okay, and you need to add some validation as well. If ever I delete something, let's say 34, I'm going to delete that kind of record. Say delete, no record found, displayed number, right? That's good. But supposed to be the details should be cleared out already, right? Now if I want to make an update, let's say update, no record found, okay, let's say 4, okay, you had here 4, then 4 supposed to be, when I enter 4, it should display the name of the details. So I'll change this to CJ and then update the record, And if you're going to verify in our database, it has been updated. It's already updated. Now if you want to view all, okay, view all, okay, it's here showing. So only one record. Okay, now but before that, I will just show you how you can separate the files from this one, which put it into one. What we will be doing is to create 3 files. Okay, we had the app Java, then we're going to separate the registration form, this one, the registration form, then the database connection. Okay, so what's inside the app.java, it will handle all application startup. Okay, meaning it's only this one will be displayed, this option. Okay, this one, that's the main, handle the startup. And for the registration, handles the GUI and the database interaction, while the database connection manage the connection. Okay, okay, we will separate now the files. So the first thing that I'm going to do is create a file called registration form.java. Then another one is, I'll call this one database connection.java. Okay, so we have 3 files now. Okay, and I know this is challenging, but it's a good practice if we can separate the files, because for that reason we can separate the concerns, meaning the connection logic is separated into a dedicated class, and then enhancing the code organization and of course the reusability. So that's number 1. And for the connection management, so here, if in case we want to reuse the code, we just focus in debugging on this aspect, because the database connection class can actually ensure that the connection is only established when needed. Okay, and it should be closed properly after its operation. Right, now for the error handling, then we can actually include some error handling that focuses on handling properly the database connection and SQL or SQL execution errors on this aspect. And obviously for the resource management, the try and catch resources, it can ensure proper resource cleanup, preventing potential resource leak. Okay, so that's a good way to do that one. So here in the database, okay, what I'm going to do here, of course, we have to add the import Java swing and import Java SQL. Okay, so we need, you have to include that asterisk, okay, and in the colon. So inside here, this is where we're going to put the connection. Anyway, I'll just copy the code from the previous file. Okay, example here in the app, this is where we put all the files. So if you notice, we had here the separate connection, meaning it's all in every part where, example, if we went to register, we had the connection here, and then connect N2, then in the view all, there's another connection here. Just imagine modifying the value in here every time that you do the connection or make some changes. Okay, so for that case, we need to create. Okay, let me just go back in here. Okay, let me tab. Now we have to start with private static, then we call this one connection, then make a constructor. So we're going to create a connection here, connection. Then here we will create a method called get connection. So just copy. The connection here is referring to this one, and then get connection. Okay, then open and close. So inside the get connection, that is where we put our error handling. Try, of course, we need to start with that. Try and touch. So inside here, we try to add some condition. If connection it's null or empty, then connection that is closed, meaning it will be closed. The connection will be closed on. Okay, then open bracket. Then here we add connection, and this is where the driver needed, which is the driver manager. Then get connection, and this is where we're going to put our what they call this one, the JDBC. Oh, sorry. Okay, now just erase this empty. Okay, we're going to put here the JDBC colon MySQL, then colon. Okay, but if you had a specific port number, then you can add it here, but later after the local host. Okay, type your local host. So make sure that your SAMP or AppServe or whatever server that you are using is also running. Okay, so local host, then colon, this is the port number 3306. So if you're going to change the port number, make sure to change this one as well. Then next is the name of your database. Okay, so this one is really important to make sure that the name of your database is exactly the same as what you had created here. So as you can see, the name of my database is university. Okay, and we need to connect into this database. Now going back here, so we have the university for the database, and then next is to add our username, which is the root. So normally this is the default username, and then since I didn't put the password, I can just leave it blank. Okay, I can just leave it blank, then ends with semicolon. Okay, and what is next after adding this one, the connection? Okay, we had it here, and then we need to add return connection. Okay, then make sure to also add the catch. we need to catch the SQL exception error. Okay, this one, exception. Okay, sorry, we need to catch the error, but it would be great if you can add some predefined. Instead of using the print stock, we will use the J option. Okay, J option, then show message dialog, then we'll just put it here, null. Just follow the, what you call this one, the syntax. Error connecting to the database. Okay, then we will get the message so that it will be displayed on the window of the user. Okay, because my mouse is, what do you call this one, N. Okay, database, I will have to add it here, plus, okay, so I need to add here, delete this automatic, so don't mind those messages because in the VS Code there is automatic. So the X referring to the SQL exception, get message. This one, get message. And close it. Okay, we added get message. Okay, okay, I guess. Then this part, oops, this one here, enter on this option and type return null. Okay, null. Then after connecting, make sure to add also, it's a good practice once that you're done connection, when it's no longer in use, then you have to close it. Then we're going to create here the method close connection, static void, we call this one close connection. Okay. Then close, then that. So try and catch again. So this is really a good practice to always put a try and catch. And if connection, okay, null, meaning it's an empty, there is no connection, and not connection is close. Okay, so we had to add in here, oops, where is it? I forgot to add equal sign here, equal sign. Okay, now what is next inside this one is connection, meaning we need to close now our connection. Okay, then in the catch option we had to add here catch. If you notice, you get an error if you didn't try to add catch. So it's always a partner. When you type the catch, the try, there should be a catch. You need to catch the error, obviously. So going to error SQL exception, meaning the error is related to SQL. Okay, then here we can add some, what they call this one, you can also use the J option if you like. Instead of, you can actually put this one, system out, the front line, just for you to test. Then you just replace this one with some, what they call this one, error closing database connection. and here you need to get the error, get message. This one, get the message, then end. So we have now code for our connection. So let me check. Okay, why we're having an error on this part? So anyway, we don't have the swing in here, so I guess there should be some mistake. Yeah, I forgot to add the asterisk, but still, why I'm getting error in this option? Okay, what is missing in my code? Okay, let me review again. If connection is null, oh, I forgot to add. Okay, here. Okay, if connections, I missed to include this one in the code. Okay, connection, just say empty or connection is closed. Okay, I think this one is okay now. So next thing that we're going to do is the registration form. We will copy the code for the registration form. So all we need to do, just transfer in here, okay, this one in the app, all of this, okay, we just need to provide the complete code. Okay, hold on. C Okay, so going back here, registration. So this is the wrong spell, I guess. Let me rename it. It should be I. Okay, so there's no more error in this option. So what will I do is I will just try to copy, because this one is actually a very long code. Okay, so I will just copy it here, and you just do the same. Okay, I need to remove this option. Let's see, what did I miss? Fields, action intent. Okay, as we can see, there are still some errors, and obviously we also need to copy those what we call this one. I mean, here we need to import the Java swing, the asterisk, or then import Java AWT that asterisk. Okay, then and the rest of the code that you need to copy. Okay, just copy on. Okay, still have one error here. Whole number. Okay, what's this error? Okay, from the delete option, did we miss something? Okay, that's delete. Okay, delete option. Let's only this is the one getting error. Okay, so we need to close it. We missed just one part. Okay, now if you notice, like, look at in the code, especially in the register. So what we did, we remove this part. Okay, let's look up the code here. The register form. Okay, let's go. This one, we actually removed this part. Okay, we try to remove that one, including, okay, this one only. So here in our new file register, we remove the instead, but here. So what does it mean here with the question mark, if you might be asking? Okay, this represents the fields or the variables representing the first name, last name, email, the gender, and the roll number. Okay, so you need to fix on that one. Okay, so if I want to, okay, now, so we had now the form. Now as for this purpose, okay, and this new way, the database connection here, okay, we are trying to handle the connection to your MySQL database, then of course it uses the driver manager, the get connection. So this is from the driver manager. That is to establish, the purpose of this one is to establish connection, and then the connection is stored to each, what you call this one, shared across all instances, which is the registration form. So this is the shared instances, and call this one as registration form. Now the get connection returns the connection object, while the close connection here, okay, closes the connection when it's no longer needed. So therefore, in this registration form class, we are trying to set up our GUI, wherein of course on this part it creates the frame, okay, this one it creates the frame, and then with various swing components like text field, the radio button, the text field, okay. And here our text fields are the first name, the last name, the email, as well as the roll number, okay. Now the buttons that we had here, the register now, view all, update, and delete, and that's why we're creating a method for that. Now in the action listeners, so each of these buttons okay, has an action listener, okay, associated with it where we can find it here. So we have the action listener for the registration, for viewing all, to updating the record. Okay, now this try to link into the method, okay, the one that we have created from here, okay. And then excuse me, so excuse me, what the good thing with this one, actually, the visibility, it would be easy for us to manage, particularly ensuring that it can be accessed from any other class easily from the same package or from the other package, so we can apply that one as well. So this time our the Java, this one becomes our main method, and this will be our entry point of your application. So that is where the Java virtual machine starts executing your code, okay. Now you might be wondering, okay, so where can we see the OOP on this aspect? Okay, actually, when we are talking about the OOP and the get connection aspect, example here, the database connection, this class, the database connection, encapsulates the database connection logic. So this is where we apply the encapsulation part, because it makes the code reusable across different parts of your application. And this get connection method establishes a connection to the database, where this is where you can replace the values with your actual database credentials. So you can replace this one, whatever would be your username as well as your password easily. And the close connection method closes the connection when it's no longer needed, of course. So that's the beauty of having a separate file. So going back here in our registration form, instead of creating a new connection in its method, just like what we did in the original code, now it uses the database connection instead. So here this is the database connection. Going back here in our method, okay, example here, it uses this one, okay, wherein it tries to retrieve the connection from the other file, which is referring to database connection. Okay, and with the use of this try and catch, it uses to ensure the connection is automatically closed after its operation. So it's a good practice to apply that one. And with the okay, so it's really important to separate the file so you can appreciate how easy it is to modify separately so that it will not affect the whole code. Now let's go back here in the app.java. So this time we will no longer need this one, so we will remove this option up to the last part. We just retain the main option. Okay, we'll just retain this one. Okay, just delete it. And of course I had to because I have to call this one public class. And what's the name of our Java, which is up? Okay, up. We had to add it here. Okay, so we need to close. So we had it here now. Okay, so here we had save package. Again, we had app. This is where your main application class, and it creates an instance called registration form, which will automatically display the GUI and handle all the interaction, including the database interactions. So what are the key points that you need to consider here? So the package registration F, we had it here, statement at the beginning of its file, that is to make sure that the classes are in the same package. If you notice in the big connection, do we had it here as well? Okay, the package and same as with this one. Okay, registration package. Okay, so another advantage is the visibility, the public modifier in our this one. Okay, which is the front of the class names, will ensure that they can be accessed from any other class in the same package from other packages. So here, since this is our main method, therefore in other application there are no more main application. So of course we need to compile this one. Let's try to check whether this one is running right now. Okay, I hope there are no error. Yes, okay, there's no error, so it's working. I can type now campo Jana Cruz. So I type here Jana Cruz at gmail.com. Okay, and then make sure to include the roll number. But if ever when you created a table it's an automatic value, then you don't need to type this one. But since in this exercise our focus is on how you can separate the files from one class to 3 separate class only, for now I'll just have to input it manually. But it's not a good practice or not a good way wherein you have to manually enter the roll number. It's supposed to be automatic, or you can generate it. You have to add another coding as well, so you need to add some validation here as well. So click register now. Let's say it's connection. Oh, error connection, unknown database university. Okay, what does it say? Unit. Okay, university. Okay, see, we got some error. We have to add some error handling on that. As you can see, the error is in the database. I need to put effort on it, browsing here or browsing the registration form. Instead, I'll just focus here. Now this is where I get the error. It's because of this one. See, that's what happened when you get some error. Let's try to run it again. Okay, so let me run it. So again, Jana Cruz. Okay, say Jana Cruz, gmail.com. So email, then had the, let's say 6365 update. Okay, successful. That's it. See, that's easier now. Of course, when you want to register new and you try to modify, so your exercise you follow exactly like this, but I just want you to learn on how you can use it. If in case you want to modify your code using the Visual Studio Code and you're having problem adding MySQL connector, you can do the same. And the purpose of this video is for you to try as well on how you can separate the connection and you can reuse it into another. But of course you can actually modify this one. You can add some, instead of putting this, so perhaps I can just use the message here. Okay, instead of, okay, so instead if I use system out, I can just replace this with what they call this one, show message dialog. So I'll just replace this with, okay, I'll just copy this one instead. And yeah, I had to add now. But if in case you had a specific type of cases that you want to use, you can add error message option. Okay, return null. Do I need to add this one? Well, for this, I think it's no longer needed. As you can see, there's an error, so you don't need to include that one. Okay. You can also try to create by adding a database. If in case the database is not created yet, you can also add a coding here if you want to add. Okay. So try to perform with this one so you will know how you can do it. So that's all. I think I will try to make another video on what do you call this one, you know, make some configurations on how you can automatically create a database if not existing, and create as well a table, and if it is existing, then just insert it or overwrite it or create a backup. Okay, and you can also create a separate coding for backup, so it's a good practice also creating a backup. Okay, the purpose of this is just to show you that you can separate it. That's all.